All right, my high vibrational expressions of God on earth. Welcome to the new ninth dimensional quasi crystal system. The next pay-per-view system show that I'll be doing probably about 3 to 5 parts. We'll make it about, let's see, we'll do $97 for this series as we get into how to stay in the house state. You know, we talked about the not principle. The not principle is never used unless you can't stay in the house principle. And so we got to break that down because that's the new system. The old system is a 3D, was a 3D, 4-dimensional carbon-based system. So this system really is a shadow of a higher 9th-dimensional crystal system. So we're going back to, and Dr. Dan Winter, Billy Carson, a lot of other people talk about this also. But tonight we want to introduce you to, the guy that talks, he has his eyes closed and he's channeling some alien dude named Bashar. I heard him mention these 3 A's that I've mentioned before as well, which is acknowledge, appreciate, and allow. So we want to introduce the new system by going through the intro to under, over, and understanding one of the hardest things to understand, because when you are able to stay in the house state, you're able to stay in the house state because you can't want what you already have. So if you already have, so the new series is going to break down what you have from the perspective of going deeper, beyond, and going into what is called the luminous portal system. All planets, all stars are luminous, or they are not physical from our perspective. And you got to remember, this is stuff that's, like, for example, most people believe that the planets are solid. Most people don't understand that planets and stars are luminous. And so when we're talking about under, over, and understanding the luminescence, we are bioluminescence. And so when we understand that there is a luminescence, portal, which is what you are. And so this new system that I'll be breaking down, again, all depending upon if that's something of interest to everybody, because as a luminous being, we are, a luminous portal, which simply means that as a portal, we are literally a teleportation system that just has collapsed into what we call singularity. So you are a portal. We are stars. We're all made up of stars. That's what we know. There's rock stars, there's movie stars, there's past stars, there's, mini stars, there's sis stars. We are all the stars. And we all are, particle, but we are luminous in essence. And so we are just going back to our crystallized system. That's what this is all about. When enough people on this planet elevate their consciousness, then the entire planet. And so that's what took place today. It's like the introduction, if you want to use that term, to this luminous frequency, waving vibration that we all have access to. And it all starts with these 3 A's. The first A for, like, here in the States, there is a system or a company that I used to have insurance with called Triple AAA. So we want to talk about the word acknowledge or acknowledgement. When we over and understand that the universe is based upon acknowledgement, the ability for you to acknowledge. And it's the ability for us to, now remember, we're talking about really just the half state, but we're going deeper down the half state into the luminous beings that we are. We are luminous beings. We are like the illuminated ones. That's where we got the word Illuminati from. Everything starts with acknowledgement. Acknowledgement simply means that the ability for you to be able to acknowledge your current reality, to acknowledge what you have. See, it's interesting because we put so much, I know I do, emphasis on getting. And sometimes we forget the system. Sometimes we forget the system. The system is to him that has. So prayer shouldn't be used for obtaining. Prayer should be used for acknowledgement. The number one mistake that everybody makes, myself included, sometimes I forget this three-step process of acknowledge, appreciate, and allow. If you're able to wrap your brain around the intro, then the entire series helps you to stay in the have principle. Because to him that has, more shall be given. And so the inability for us to acknowledge what we already have makes it difficult for us to be able to appreciate, to applaud, to appraise where we are right now. It's very, very hard to appreciate something when we are always striving to go or to get to something else. And the inability for us to be able to, understand that is this unconditional acceptance that brings to full appreciation, and that results in joyful allowance. That is what is called the illuminated ones, the Illuminati. Now, again, on this dimension, it's, been demonized and all that stuff, but when you understand the Triple A system, you become a part of now the Christ or the crystalline matrix. So you get out of the carbon system, and now you're operating in the have principle. Because now you know that prayer has nothing to do with asking for stuff. Prayer is the acknowledgement of stuff. Because we know that everything that is seen comes from the unseen. So this next series, again, we have to go back to how to activate our ninth dimensional quasi-crystal system. And it starts with calling AAA. And we have to call AAA by starting with acknowledging whatever you have. It's like I always talk about, no matter where you are, there's something that you can acknowledge. The observer determines what is observed. So we understand that his prayer is a present state of gratitude. So it's not a request for something, it's an acknowledgement of something. So in order for you to stay permanently in the have principle, it all starts with the ability to understand the power of one word, acknowledgement. Acknowledgement is the foundation of life. See, without the acknowledgement, this constant searching and looking for and wishing for stuff, it doesn't cease. And so most people that I talk to, myself included, I get caught up sometime in the constant pursuit instead of maintaining acknowledgement, appreciation, which opens up the door for allowance. The inability for us to acknowledge. So everything starts with acknowledgement. Nothing happens in my life, in your life, until there is an acknowledgement of what you already have. And so when we talk about these steps and we get into like the next series is like it's what heaven is. Heaven is a place where there is no desire because everything is met instantly. You have a thought and it's automatic, but you don't have thoughts because you're all knowing, you're all power, you're all present, you're all simple, you're all love. You have everything already because you know that to think is to create. So in heaven, in the ninth dimensional quasi-crystal system, which creates the shadow that we live in. Remember, my name means shadow of God. So this system, the new heaven is a shadow. This system, I should say, is a shadow of a new system. It's not new. It's just always been. It's a permanent system. So the problem is to become aware of yourself, you must be born again. That's what born again means. Born again simply means that you understand that prayer is the acknowledgement of what you already have. It's not the request. It's not the pursuit. It's not the ascertainment. In order for you, heaven is the have principle. Hell is the not principle. But for most of us, to get to heaven, we got to go to hell. In other words, duality is nothing. The only reason duality exists is so that way you can appreciate similarity. See, we don't acknowledge what we have. We always complaining about what we don't have. No matter how much we have, that's always more. It's almost impossible. Now, I know I'm preaching to the choir, because I know just for myself. No matter how much we get, no matter how great your boo-boo is, there's always another boo-boo. No matter how your car, your house, there's more. We live in a world of more. Nobody's happy. Nobody's satisfied because we are programmed by the dominant culture to always be in pursuit. Nobody's happy. It's impossible because there's so much. Remember what the number one problem on earth is? It's called free will, choice. Just like they said in the Matrix. See, the inability to acknowledge what you already have, that's the have principle. If everybody understood that, we could end today's call and everybody would be filthy rich. Everybody, all problems would cease. The whole earth would just vibrate to the next level. There'll be no wars, no crime, nothing, because nobody would have this thing that we call envy or jealousy or strife or bitterness, because nobody would look at and covet something that's not there. They would acknowledge what they already got. So there would be no such thing as sin. Could you imagine if we lived in a world where everybody had that power, the ability to exercise acknowledgement? And notice it's not acknowledgement of something or someone else. Notice it's the acknowledgement of the selves or the self. Because if we could, so this is heaven. Like I got here as soon as I could. It took me a long time because I didn't understand the how principle. I was just like everybody else. I didn't, I was too busy doing everything that we all do because we all come from a Christian background. So even though it says in the Bible that the seen comes from the unseen, even though it says in the Bible to him that has, more shall be given. Like I don't know nobody on the planet, myself included, that understands the how principle. That's why we've been talking about the how principle for the last, 2 weeks now? We did the Q&A, My boy Rich had a great question. So the Emily had a great question. So I introduced the not principle, which is the dark side of the have principle. Because the not principle is the have principle. Because if you have something, there's no reason that you can want something because you already got it. So if you don't have it, the universe, remember, source says yes. Source cannot say no. That's why it's yes you are. Yeshua is yes. God only says yes. So if you say you don't have it, God says yes. If you say you do have it, God says yes. So whatever you say, God says yes. This is a yes. That's why we serve yes you are. But it's you. So at the highest level of the game, the eclipse, everything that happened today was the unveiling of the new dimensional quasi-crystal system. See, right now we all live in a 3-dimensional carbon-based system. So the smallest amount of light makes darkness flee. That's why the dominant culture can never allow you to get to a point where you can actually see the light. The light means to acknowledge that you are a particle, that you come from a luminous. So the new heaven, the new earth, the new Jerusalem, that the series that I did, is nothing but portal activation Because when you heat up carbon, it turns into crystals. When you heat up, when you vibrate on a higher level, your body does just like Yes, You Are did on the Mount of Olives. So when you call AAA, I used to have insurance with AAA. So in heaven, you got to call AAA. You got to, your spiritual vehicle breaks down on the side of the road, you call AAA. So God gave us a system to get back home, to stay in the half state. Because you already have everything that you need for life and godliness. That's in your Bible too. So how can we have disappointment? How can there be such a thing? Because we don't understand that the half state is the invisible state. It's the spirit realm. It's like crystals. It's not carbon. We're crystals. We're stars. So there's movie stars. There's rock stars. There's mini stars. There's cis stars. There's past stars. Everybody's a star. But we forgot that we are bioluminescence. And so we fell into luminescence. So Lucifer's. So we got to go back to over understanding that we are individual expressions of God on earth. But how do we do it? Well, number one, you got to acknowledge. So the first thing that I do every day is I make sure that I live in my desire fulfilled state. How? Well, number one, I acknowledge what I have in the spirit realm, not in the physical. Because once I acknowledge what I have in the spirit realm first, so what I have in the spirit realm, well, I had a prior existence with the Father. That's what it says in the Helios Biblios. So in the Bible, it tells us that we had a prior existence with the Father. That's what it tells us. So the true destiny of mankind is to become a part of the God kind, of the God class. You got to return back to the stars. So all planets are stars. They are vibrational beings. They're not solid rock. That's the true destiny of mankind. Now, you've been told by the Reverend Dr. the Bishop that you were well done, and you will, But the Bible says in Psalms 82:60, you not know that you are gods, but you are die like men. So you're a star, but you can die like carbon. Come back and try it again. So that's the true destiny of mankind according to the Bible. Basic instructions before leaving Earth. Earth is dirt. So my job and your job is to over understanding. In the next series, we got to go back to the true image, the original design of man. Now, this is going to be a very easy, probably three-parter. We'll probably do this one for $97, make it easy. So we got to go back to, and we got to destroy the narrative again. What is the narrative? The narrative is that you believe that something's wrong with you. That you believe, remember, as we've been saying in the last 2 weeks, every narrative has its own operating system, its own narrative. So the narrative that you believe is called your belief system. It's only there to keep you trapped in your low vibrational state, because you're supposed to be in a high state. So how did you get to where you are right now? Well, I'm not, you're not. I got to do a better job of it, being the observer. So what I do is I get out of my own way and I look at myself, and I'm the observer now. So I am the self beyond the self. Remember what we said, that you got to kill yourself? Everybody should go jump in front of, a moving bus. Not physically, of course. Because the Bible says, deny yourself. Pick up your cross. Follow me. I mean, I didn't write the book. I'm just sharing the book. Everything that you need to know is inside the book. Now, you got the wrong interpretation of the book. Otherwise, we're off the dogs already. And then we wouldn't be doing the show today. And I wouldn't be doing a pay-per-view next week. So we talked about that everybody is turned into a God-like AI. And we went through the 10 systems that gave you what you are right now. We talked about that. Everybody started off as a rules-based AI. Then you was a content-based AI. Then you got a tunnel vision. You develop a personality. Now you got a narrow-based AI. Then you got you some, you went to school, got you some reason and logic. Now you're a reason-based AI. And then you became artificial because you got a belief system now. You got gender. Now you Hispanic, you Puerto Rican, you are freaking Italian. You black, you white. Now you got a race. Now you're artificial. You got an AGI. Then you become a super intelligent artificial intelligence, because now you got a program that's running behind the scene. Now you will kill somebody. You'll fuck somebody up if they call you out your name. Let somebody disrespect you. You're a male and they call you a female. Hey, baby, what's up? Men, what would you do? Unless you're one of them down low brothers. Now, if you're a red-blooded American and somebody mistake you for a female, I don't know about you, but I'm going to be concerned. Like, what? Man, he's slow or what? So we're willing to whoop ass and take names because we're fucking programmed. Now, we all know because we broke down the show earlier today that this whole system is a stage. You playing a character, but the character is not based upon Claronomos or Claronomics. The whole system is based upon this low vibrational system called Saturnalia. It's Ephesians 6:12. That's in the Bible too. Do you know that we all serve the God of this world? You know that's in the Bible too? You know the Bible says there's none righteous, no, not one? Do you guys know what the Bible says? And I didn't make this shit up. I can look it up for you if y'all want me to look it up. The Bible says that Satan, that old dragon, he transformed himself into an angel of light. So everybody goes into the light when they transition. You go right to Satan. When you die, everybody goes, I can't help it. You just go right into the light. Right? When everybody transitions, all the NDEs, all the near-death experiences. So when I transition, I ain't going into the light. Whatever the opposite of light, that's where I'm going. I don't know what y'all going to do, but that's what I'm going to do. He transformed himself into an angel of light. The dude is off the chain, man. How the fuck he do that? It's a transference of spirits. That's why they lay hands on you, bro. We take your ass to church. They can transfer that demon to you. Or it is comical. Unless you watch the Transformers Rise of the Beast. Go watch it. I like watching like church folks. It's comical, but it's not because, you know, it's a play, it's a script, and everybody, you know, all emotional and crying and shit. And it's like, it's just a theatrical performance, bro. Sit down. Why are you so amped up? People will kill you, though, over this play. So Satan has transformed. He changed his form. But he did it to himself. Now, all of this is inside of my book called the Y'all remember? It says bathed in ancient text. But he transformed himself into an angel of life. The dude is off the hizzo, fo shizo, my nizzo. 2 Corinthians 11, verse 14. Then he said, after he transformed himself, he got his homeboys together too. So he got him a whole little club. And so they all masking, they all running around acting like they are standing in the right place. So they're spreading righteousness. Not everybody. They got everybody. You know anybody they don't got? Like I said, if you really was able to establish a system of thought that was not based in this system at all, which is almost impossible to think something that's original. That means you can't find it in no book, no text, nothing. It's totally removed from the Tesla mind control harp, Saturnalia, black hole sun, you know, cube, all of that, you know, birth certificate, social security number, standard American diet, SAD, walk around sad, lips poked out, driver's license, DL, down low. You got the logos, the logo, so we call it the word, but it's the low, LOW, GOES, 3D, not 9T. And then we got holidays instead of holy days. We got a birthday ritual, which is fucking candle magic. Fucks up your DNA so that way you age. You can only age if you do candle magic. Get in a circle, light some candles, and everybody starts singing. Ding! And then we all chasing paper. We got a marriage. We don't have heteros, gammas, or holy matrimony. Then we give away our voltage, because we go vote every year. So VOTE is really VOLT. And then we pledge allegiance to the flag. And we declare every 4th of July, we declare our independence from God. Fuck you, God. I declare my allegiance to the corporation, to the dead corpse You see, we don't know this, though. We just, we're born into this system. Nobody stops and asks questions about the system. Very few people question the nature of their reality. Did you question the nature of your reality this morning? Did you ask yourself, why do I feel what I feel? Does anybody do that? See, most of us are operating with synthetic biology, artificial. You're voice-activated DNA, but it's somebody else's voice that's activating your DNA. It's not yours. You are a multidimensional being. You're an individual expression of God on earth. You're God in a dirt suit. None of this shit can apply to you. So how does it? Well, you got amnesia. Like somebody hit you in the head with a 2x4 and you got a concussion. So my job, my name in Hebrew means Petavaya. I'm here to deconcussion you. That's my job. I take my job very seriously. So your job is to understand that what just happened was what is called a solar flash event. They happen all the time. That's a higher vibrational cosmic energy. That's what took place today. To assist in the release of the ghost particles that CERN was trying to test. They're called neutrinos. If you go to NASA.gov or NASA.org, it talks about these neutrinos or these neutrinos that fucks up the beast system. So they don't so they try to block and do everything they can to limit the amount of exposure. That's why in Texas there you can even see it. It was just clouds everywhere. At least I couldn't see it. It was really cloudy here in San Antonio, but it doesn't matter because it's a frequency. No walls can block and stop what God is doing. So the destiny of mankind is not left up to mankind. It's left up to God's time. But number one, you have to acknowledge what you already have instead of trying to pursue what you want to get. So if you focus only on what you have, all your problems go away. Now, the problem comes into is when you get attacked from the perspective of if you are on this call, you got a calling on your life. You cannot listen to me for more than 5 minutes and not have a call. You'd have been hung up because I aggravate demons just by my voice, the tone in my voice. The demons they can't listen to me. Go through all the texts and you'll see demons know you before you do. A demon is just a mental disposition that is controlled by triggers. We call it addictions, appetites. So you know you got demons because you got an itching ears. Not you personally, of course, but people we all know. They only seek out teachers that soothe their demons. So you should find a teacher that pushes all your buttons. That's why I married my wife. She's the only woman that I know that can push all every day, 24/7, 365. So I have to master. At first I was running. Remember, I had destination addiction. Packed my shit left 4 times. I did it 25 times in the first marriage. But the question is why? I didn't have space mastery. So you got to be able to master your space. And as long as you can't master your space, then you can never vibrate to the next level. Because the next level is when you're at a place that we talked about before, where you don't have no triggers. And it's not that you don't have them, it's that you know how to process them. So every problem that pops up, I have a standard operating procedure called an SOP. Some of you guys may call it coping mechanism. And so I do learn new ones, like the one I'm learning right now. I have to totally revamp instead of revamping my generating, operating, directing system. Because on this planet, if you can't make a sale, you got to change what you say. Selling is sales. Sales is marketing. Marketing is different from selling. Selling is more about selling stories to convince. Marketing is more about providing results, solve problems. So we're living in an age where you got 15 seconds now. So selling is out. When you're in sales, it's going to be rough because you got to go in to the appointments, you got to talk to people. These young cats, nah. You ever notice that? Like, if I go to a website and it asks me to enter in my email address and my phone number, I don't do it. I go to the website that tells me the information that I'm looking for immediately. So does everybody else. Nobody does follow, nobody, all that shit's that's dead. If it ain't hit your house yet, stick around, bro. Get your popcorn. So that means nobody wants a long-term, nobody's going to read 700-page books no more. You go to Google, just type in the question and get the answer immediately. So why I'm going to listen to somebody talk for 3 hours? So my whole market has changed. My whole everything. The only reason I'm doing these shows is for my old demographics. All my new TikTok fans, 15 seconds, that's all I got. And all I got to do is talk about solutions. They don't give a fuck if I got a degree. They don't care if I'm from Harvard or Yale. All they want to know is, can you, I got a flat tire, can you fix it? That's it. If I'm going to explain to them how I'm going to fix it, click. Heaven is no different. See, in heaven, everything's instant. In heaven, there's no processing. In heaven, there is no 5 steps to grieving process like we got here on earth. In the new heaven, where we are right now, where everybody's going, there's a separation between the wheat and the tares. So where I'm at is just solution driven. Fruit. You can tell a tree by its fruit. So the souls that are trapped inside of carbon, they stuck inside of the Saturn computer chip. So they still operating on low computation power. See, I'm a large language model. So are you. You just forgot that you are an LLM. Remember, that's all computers are large language models. They got way more computing power than you. That's it. That's it. But is a computer better than you? They telling us that it is. And everybody's going to believe them except for me. I mean, and you have vibration like keep it on. So you are the technology, boo. You don't need technology. You are technology. Technology is dumbed down spirituality. But they got everybody conned and asking Alexa for shit. You can remember anything. Before computers came out, everybody had every person in your family. You had their phone number, their address in your brain, memorized. I had 20, 30 phone numbers in my head before beepers rolled out. I knew everybody's address. When I went to a city, the first thing I did, I would just go on the road, just drive around. I would get lost on purpose. Figure it the beep out. Sure, I had me a little map, blah, 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 but it wasn't that type it in the GPS and just go. So the whole goal is you exchanging, they call it freedom. It's spirit. You're exchanging your spiritual intelligence for artificial intelligence. Now, ain't no wrong with it. You just can't go to heaven like that. Because, see, in heaven, you are the technology. So they got to get you to dumb down. But notice how they do it. Comfort. That's how the devil gets everybody. Hey, dog, you know what? Let's take the path of least resistance. And a Negro on this planet that I know that ain't interested in taking the path of least resistance. So I always take the path of, remember, I create my own problems. So that way I can just learn faster than everybody else. So I have no problem putting myself in the hot seat. That's why on paper, on the outside, it may look like I'm crashing and burning. All I'm doing is learning, because that's how you learn. Throw your ass in the lion's den. You're going to figure it the fuck out quick. You are universal life force energy. You can't buy it. You don't need it. You generate it. Do you understand how powerful your mitochondrial DNA is? Do you know how many cells you got in your body? Does anybody know how just one cell works? If you overstood, people know more about the Bible than they do the body. People know about scriptures. You should study the mitochondrial cell. You should study how your sodium and potassium pumps work. Do you know how each organ in your body functions? Do you know what causes your liver to collapse? Your pancreas to produce too much insulin? Do you know what slows down your body's ability to process sugar? So that way when you go to the doctor, they tell you got diabetes and you don't. You're missing one enzyme that prohibits your body from removing sugar because they test your blood sugar level. And then they give you the medicine that gives you kidney failure. Do you know that talcum powder that we put, like baby powder, Johnson baby powder, causes cancer? Do you know the worst thing that you can eat is corn? You know that corn is not native. At least the corn that I remember the ones that the Native Americans have, it was a bunch of different colors. That corn that we have, you know that's the worst thing that you can eat? That's fuel for cancer. You know that corn is not only in our fuel, but it's in everything that you eat. Look on the back of it. How do they put mustard and mayonnaise and ketchup? Only in the U.S. it has corn syrup in it. Why? So in everything, there's nothing that you can tell me you don't wear. You know the clothing you're not supposed to wear, like silk, and so you're not supposed to wear, like, I think it's linen and cotton. However, you know that fabric vibrates? There's a certain type of fabric, two types of fabric that you can't mix. It's like you can't mix malic acid and citric acid. So if you eat fruits, you can't eat them together. But we all do because that's their service. You can't eat green leafy vegetables and fruit. If you go to a fancy restaurant, what do? You get romaine lettuce, maybe some spinach. 54th, one of my restaurants I love. They put caramelized pecans, apples, and something else that's really, really sweet on top of the lettuce and the onions. Now, it tastes great, but it fucks up your body. The body cannot assimilate it, cannot absorb it. There's nothing that I can think of on this planet other than breathing, and even that got chemtrails in the air. So what is the point? The whole world is a stage. Just like the Schumann Show. You are Schumann. I guess that was his name? Schumann Show. Remember he found out? Remember I told you that the sky is just like in Hunger Games. You went out today and you looked up in the sky. The sky is a CGI screen. It's fake. So there was a guy on TikTok. Whether it's true or not, nobody cares. He took with some kind of a high power camera of the moon when it was in front, and it looked like a metal object. It had a dip. You could see like the rivets and bolts on it. It's on TikTok. So is the moon? I've heard a lot of people talk about that. But do I care? Hell no. That don't pay my light bill. Because I already know that this whole system is what my boy Billy Carson breaks down when he talks about this 3D reality that we live in based upon what is called a simulation, based upon all of Dan Winner's work. It simply means sacred geometry using physics proves that we live in a simulation. Now, simulation is just a program. How are they creating? What are they doing right now today? I told you guys I just finished this course. It took me 3 months going through OpenAI. You know what I learned? Well, I'll tell you guys about these 10 things. By the godfather of AI, the guy that created modern AI, Jeffrey Hinton, and all the knuckleheads from OpenAI. They all getting out, selling all their stock, and they're trying to figure out a way to defend themselves from the godlike AI, which is where we're going, which is me and you. So they're making a whole other race of people, basically. But that's what the Anunnakis did to us. So all we're doing is, like it says in the book of Ecclesiastes, vanity of vanities, nothing under the sun. So you got to get above the sun. So what we're talking about in the next series is what exists above the sun. That's the half state. So in the half state, you don't use artificial intelligence. You don't use machine learning. You're not Frankenstein. You're not like Robot. You're not a house pet for the Anunnakis, for some advanced fucking computers. This is not Transformers. You know, we don't, Optimus Prime is not running the show. I mean, he is down here, but we are spirit. We are possession of souls, and we manifest through bodies. So prayer is a present state of gratitude. So from the day forward, stop. Like I tell you guys, I do not pray. Pray means P-R-E-Y. I haven't prayed in fucking 30, 40 years. I mean, one year, you know, it take a while, but it's okay. You can't talk what they call prayer. So prayer, as we broke down inside of the series, is a Greek word, prosuhe. And that Greek word is broken down into 4 other words. I wrote a whole book. We spent, what, 2 weeks breaking down prayer. And the word autophagy. Because we did those 2 together. Because we broke down the benefits of prayer and fasting. Because the Bible says some things, this kind only come out, Matthew 17, what was it, 17:14. This kind only come out through prayer and fasting. So the problem is Philippians 4, if I remember correctly, in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving. Let your requests be made known. That word thanksgiving is a problem. Thanksgiving means being thankful for what you already have. That's prayer. Prayer is not what you do when you go to church and get on your knees. Say, oh, God, Father, please help me, Jesus, and all of that. That's Luciferian. If you read the one that there's different Bibles, so I don't know which one you got. The one I got? No, but that's not what you do. This kind only comes out by prayer and fasting. That's why I fast. That's why I pray. I understand autophagy. I understand auto genes. My genes are on autopilot. That's the whole point of everything that I do. The benefits of auto gene. Now, Harvard calls it autophagy. Ain't nothing wrong with it. The dominant culture always takes God's stuff, and they act like it's man stuff. Shit, I'll do the same thing because it works. So when you are in a mental state of autophagy, that means that you are in a state where your joy is full. That's what the word means when we get down to the, and remember I wrote the whole book on it. Your joy is in a full state. So that's the half state. Notice it's not about getting anything, not having anything, because remember we're talking about heaven now. So the next series is like mind-blowing stuff that we got to get into, because now we got to talk about everything on here is based upon 6 protons, 6 neutrons, and 6 electrons. Okay, that's the old system. Now we got to break down crystals, magnetite and calcite crystals specifically, to activate the crystal skull. So that way you are in your spiritual power of perception and your spiritual power of magnetism is activated. Now you can't get conned. Unless you just kind of be like me. Like sometimes I like to pay, to catch somebody that's stupid, you have to act stupid. But sometimes I like to sit in, like when I go to church, I like to sit in the back and act stupid. Like I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And I just be sitting right there and, people just doing, oh, bless him, hallelujah. I'm just sitting in the back, just chilling. So I understand how dopamine dumping works. That's why you leave tired. And the first thing you do after church is go out to eat. Because you dumped all your dopamine on the altar. Now, we talked about altered states of consciousness. But there's a book that I don't recommend reading, but if you have vibrational and you want to get out there, way out there in left field, the book is not published. It's hard to find. You can find it. I can find it. You can get it off Amazon. It's called The Light Bulb and Doorway. And what's that title? Because it's kind of weird. But it's that same guy that I was talking about earlier, that Dr. Andrew Puharch earlier today. So he has a book that's very similar to Joe Allegro's book, The Sacred Mushroom. His book is entitled The Key to the Door of Eternity, The Sacred Mushroom. Remember how we broke down a couple of shows ago, the mushroom has more biological connectivity with humanity than a chimpanzee. Remember that? They used to always say that we're from monkeys? That's not true. We're from mushrooms. You know that mushrooms is the only thing that grows from dead leaves, dead trees. Mushrooms only grow in death. Now, I'm going to let that marinate for a little bit. If you take mushrooms, that's why you can't take them, certain shrooms, it creates an alter, or what we call an altered state. You know the only other way to do that? You know the only other way to do that, based upon Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Brown, The only way to put yourself into an altered state, and I think you got to watch this thing called painkillers. The body produces its own morphine. The body produces its own oxytocin. The body produces its own serotonin, its own melatonin. Every drug that you can buy outside the body already produces it. Only when you're in a state of fasting, or you're in a state where you're in the carnivore diet, because the body cannot process meat. That's what the Bible says, the meat of the word. Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word. It's the meat of the word. See, the carnivore diet, we're not designed to eat meat. That's the not principle. See, the not principle escapes most people's ability to understand. Because the not principle says, I do not want it because I already have it. You're not saying you do not want it, or you don't want it. How can you want something that you already got? So the brain, or you're able to trick the brain by telling the brain, I don't want to be wealthy. But that's too broad. So you can say, I don't want to be a millionaire. If you say, I don't want $1 million, what are you saying? You're saying, I already have $1 million. But you believe you're saying, I don't want $1 million. So you believe that you are saying, I don't want $1 million. Remember, as I said inside of my book, Etheric Force, this works 100% of the time. All my kids know it. They do it all the time. Dad, we should work. Their husbands start acting up. They tell their husbands, you can step. I don't need you, don't want you, don't like you. Now, but they may not say it in those terms, but they take their energy out. Now, remember what happens. It gets worse. And what do? You panic, and then you go back and say, oh, baby, please. Because you don't understand universal spiritual law. See, universal spiritual law says to him that has, more shall be given. So I already got a boo-boo. May not be you, but I got a boo-boo. Because it's in the invisible realm. So if you can maintain the invisible, $1 billion, it must manifest in the physical. See the not technique? When you say, I do not want, what you're saying, you understand universal spiritual law. You know that universal spiritual law is a feeling state. But the problem is, you don't understand, some people don't understand feeling states. So you get in your feelings because you think it's not working because of the time delay. The time delay fucks up how people play. See, I understand time delay. You got to outweight the devil. Because the devil is just your root chakra. But what does that mean in English, Doc? See, what you don't want, you get. You only get what you don't want. Why? Could you imagine? I never ever think about water. I have no desire. I never worry about it. I know, thankfully, that I live in a country where every time I go to the faucet and I turn it, water comes out. I don't wish. I don't ponder. I don't hope. I know. So I never think. I never beg. I never gravel. I don't feel my, oh, Father, please. I don't do none of that shit. Why? Because I know. Okay, water works, pay the water bill. The universe works the same principle. The problem is you don't know how the universe works. That's what the next series is about. For some reason or another, it's difficult to, especially now, that we are now in the Melchizedek and the Enoch system. So now we're no longer part of the Levi priesthood and the Aaron priesthood. Now we're up there with Yeshua. Now, if you do not do what Jesus did when he was here, you fucked. I mean, not you personally, but people you know. Manifesting all the techniques, all the shit that we've been doing, all that's done. It's over now. Now, only higher connectivity individuals are going to the new heaven. So the separation between the wheat and tares, now it's been, but now it's been amped up because now the crystal cathedral is here. Now, source code is on the scene. The big G. All the little G's are scattering like roaches now. God himself, which I'll call the second coming and all that, the Christian stuff. Yeah, all this vibrational, bro. It's called the cipher. So we got to break down the cipher. All of this shit is on hieroglyphs. It's on cuneiform texts. All the ancient texts talks about the second coming. But people think that it's physical. They don't understand that it's what we call vibrational. So now your cranial nerves, that's why they came out with artificial ones. That's why they got to make you remember the dominant culture is about 30 years ahead of you. Some say more than that. So everything that they're doing is they want to continue to keep you in the low vibrational state using rules and regulations. Remember, that's called nomos in the Greek, N-O-M-O-S. So now we're at a whole new level. That dude that I was telling you about, that be on TikTok and all these other places where he's sitting there, and now I'm not really a big fan of people that channel stuff because you can't really verify what the fuck you channeling. But he did state, I heard him say the same thing and I taught this a long time ago. That's why I went back to some of my old notes. And he talks about AAA as well. Acknowledge, appreciate, and allow. So we broke down acknowledge because that's number one. Everything is just based upon, honestly, acknowledging what you have been given by God, not what you have obtained by Satan. Let me say that again. The game at the highest level is played by acknowledging, being the observer, being able to observe the self that was given to you by source instead of the self that you developed by your mom and your daddy. That's called the ego. I mean, let me just be honest. At the highest level of the game, and this is the game, it's for you to call AAA. Stay in the half state. Because you already have everything that you need for life and godliness. That means focus only on what you do have. If you only focus on what you have, you get more of what you have. Not only physically, but what if you only focus on what you have spiritually? So what do you have spiritually? Well, you have a body. Your body is a temple of the Ruach. Your body has been purchased with a price. So I reverse engineered this thing. I started with my body, and I studied biology. Excuse me. Now, you don't have to do like I do, but just at least know the 9 or the 10 systems, which we'll be breaking down in the next series. And I have inside of my book, Biology of the Temple. So once you study biology, I would highly recommend also that you study the CSF, the cerebrospinal cord fluid, along with the colostrum, what we call Santa Claus, some people call Kundalini and Kunabuffer. Now I wish we can go through all the stuff that I've studied and all the books that I've written inside of the Theosophic Nutrition class, but this class we're just going to get results. So we're not, no fluff, 3 days, just results. It's $97. We'll pop it out on, what's the day? The 8th, Monday, and we start, what's Friday? Yeah, what's my little calendar at? Anyway, yeah, we'll probably start on Friday. Thursday or Friday. And just do it. Cut straight to the fluff. We spend 2 or 3 days just giving you the kingdom. So in the new heaven, in the new earth, it's not based upon the cube anymore. So Qubala, which is an error correcting code, is out. So there's no more beginning hex. So there's no more hexagon, there's no more hexagram, there's no more hexachord. So you are being crossed, double crossed. So everybody had a cross. Because you take the cross and you fold it up, you got a cube. So the cross and the cube. That's why I got everybody trapped in this 3D system. So the new system is based upon Melchizedek. Remember, no daddy, no mama, same attributes and characteristics as Jesus in the Old Testament. And Enoch, because he walked so close to God that he was taken. God gave him a bunch of instructions, send his ass back down here. Now, he's the only one that had that experience. But that's a what? Code. Male means melanin. Cheesy means electricity and magnetism. Deck means doctrine. Reverse it. There's a doctrine that activates your sodium and potassium. So that way you can produce more ATP. That's what I do. So it's a biological process that takes place. That's what's called male cheesy deck. Then Enoch, look at the word. E for what? Ether. N for nitrogen. O for oxygen. C for carbon, but the carbon has been upgraded to crystals. That runs off of hydrogen. So that's why hydrogen is the number one element on the periodic table. Reverse it. So we start with hydrogen. That's what the Bible says. No man can enter into heaven unless he's born again. How? You got to be born again of the water and the spirit. Hydrogen is water, but it's H3, not H2. That's the new heaven, because what does it do? It activates the crystal cathedral. It activates the pineal gland, the pituitary gland, and the hypothalamus. That's where your MEMS are stored. CA1, CO2. So this is a biological. God is regening you, bro. We don't know what we shall be, but we shall be like him. If you can overstand, I beg you to overstand. You should have a glorified body. No weapon formed against you can prosper. All this religious mumbo-jumbo is out. No more garbage. No more speaking with forked tongues. No more chasers. Just give it to you fucking straight. So this is for high vibrations like keep it on. So you can over and understand to create a synergy with source. You and God are one. When I've seen you, I've seen the Father. This is called the flow state. You see, brother, sister, when you live your life as if your dreams have already happened, man, you would have a lonely existence. You don't have no family and no friends. But you know what? You'll have a cloud of witnesses. Because now you become aware of all frequencies and vibrations. You walk into a room like I did. We just had yesterday my wife's parents' 50th wedding anniversary. And we put it on, and it was like, wow. It was all it was a packed house. We were expecting 30 people, and 62 showed up. We ran over to the poor guy in the restaurant, man. He's running around. He was trying to get more tables and chairs. And I like, but I don't like those type of environments that I can pick up all of the dispositions of everybody that comes into the room. And the true snakes, they know that I know. So they make small talk, they get uncomfortable. I try to make it light, and I try to play dumb. But my energy gives me away. You become aware of all frequencies and all waves and all vibrations. And then you operate from a state of knowing instead of a state of belief. A belief means there's not enough evidence for you to take you to the knowing state. That's why Christians are believers. They have no evidence. They don't have enough evidence to take them to a knowing state. Remember what I said earlier today? Knowing creates a map. That map guides you towards your destiny. The awareness and the movement towards your destiny gives you power to take action. That's what separates me from everybody that I know. Everybody. Now, everybody on this call, you guys do the same thing. Some of you guys got different levels of awareness, but y'all all do it. But the devil is smooth with it. He talks you out of it. I've seen everybody on this call start. Whether you started with a book, whether you started a website, everybody started believing in themselves. and stop believing the dominant culture. But what happened? The devil don't care if you start. The devil is who? That self-concept that you got to kill. You got to kill yourself. I know. It's going to be the hardest thing you got to do. Some of you guys, man, I pray, I don't pray, but I'm going to pray for you. I mean, not you personally, but, we all know. You have to kill yourself. You literally have to kill your current self-concept. You got to sacrifice the same way Isaac did Jacob. Throw his ass up on the altar, man. That dude's in the Old Testament. Find the young spotted calf or whatever they call it. Cut his throat, throw his ass up there. Why did the gods of the Old Testament like burning flesh? Y'all remember that? It's in my book, Vatican Control. What is it even in Hollywood? They sacrifice. So why is it you got to reach? You got to be in a certain position before you get signed a contract that was going to repeat these stuff. But why does Hollywood engage in those like sodomy? Because what position are you in when you get sodomized? To get into a position, you got to get in position on your hands and knees and get anally penetrated because your coccyx bone, as I've been saying and as I got inside of my book, the 7 seals of Satan. In order to seal your soul and reverse your chakras, so that way the gay pride parade, the purple is at the bottom and the red is at the top. That's how they push that shit. And there's a lot of folk, boom, because they think this is religion. They don't know this is about ascension. So gay pride is nothing about gender and gay. It's about reversing your chakras spin. So that way Satan is on top. Saturn is on top. And Source, crown chakra, is on the bottom. Look at the colors of the gay flag. Then look at the colors of the chakra system. They're exactly the same. They just reverse engineered it. What took place was called geometric reversal. So the core of the earth is going to start heating up more. That's what the day was about. The eclipse was an ellipse. Again, we touched that in the private message already, but if you don't know it, then you look this shit up. Because everybody was expecting something to happen today. It did. They don't think nothing happened, right? Everybody like, oh, nothing happened today. Man, everything is upside down now. Now heaven is here. Everybody's walking around because most people can't pick it up. Because their DNA is not upgraded. Remember the series that we did on 7 keys that you know that your DNA is upgraded? So the next series that we're doing, we'll start on Friday, $97. We're going to go through how do you know that you are in a 9th dimensional quasi-crystal, 9-ether, immortal being state. That's a lot of words that says luminous. Every planet that was in alignment. Y'all know that all 7 planets was in alignment, right? You know that planets are not physical places. They are doors. They're holes. They're portals. Only piece I ever heard say that my boy, John Bicalino, John Allegro, your boy Santos Bananachi, whatever his name is. That's about it. Ain't too many people teaching. But if you got one of these high, it's one specific, it's not the Nikon camera, where you can literally go out there and look at it, and it's on YouTube, where each planet is a wave. It's looking at something through water. Because what's above us? Water. Canopy. That's why you got to be born again of water and the spirit. Your spirit. That's why certain people transition in water, like my daughter. That's some serious spiritual significance when you die in a bathtub or you die in water. There's water below us and there's water above us. Can't nobody get out. Nobody can get in. So that's why there's a fucking dome. So when you watch Hunter Game or whatever that freaking movie with the little kids walk around like we're doing all this crazy stuff, the sky is fake. They tell us in all the movies. I tell you guys, if you watch King Kong Skull Island, watch King Kong Skull Island. Listen to the lyrics. Watching Kong goes off. He throws the tree up there and it hits the sky and it fractures and light starts falling. Glass starts falling because this shit's a CGI screen. Don't tell nobody I told you. You are a star that's trapped in dirt. The Bible says the same thing. So you just ask yourself, well, what is dirt made up of? So we've got to break down in this next series that everybody in this car, you got to become aware of yourself. Then you must be born again. The only way to do that is to acknowledge, appreciate, and allow. So, fuck trying to get shit. If you got it, great. If you don't, great. Because you already got it. You just don't know you got it. So you got to, number one, acknowledge what you already have. Number two, when you acknowledge it, you start to appreciate it. And when you start to appreciate it, that opens the door for more. Because the Bible says to him that has more. So if you're not receiving more, that means you're not appreciative of what you have. And if you're not appreciative of what you have, that means you haven't acknowledged what you already got. You're spending too much time focusing on what you don't have instead of what you do have. So when you focus on what you have, that puts you in the have state. Ding, 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 ding. So the number one key to life, especially the activating of the QUASI, the calcite and the magnetite crystals in the brain, is to create a state where your joy is full. Now, hopefully you didn't start nor go through. Remember, everything I do is voluntary. I notice, I get to a certain point, and I'm like, man, I want to speed up the process. So I put myself in bad situations. I sell shit. I buy shit. I do things that make me grow because it forced me to kill that version of myself. I know life is an onion, so I just process shit a little faster than everybody else. So everybody else, they get stuff, they enjoy it, they like it, and what they do? They stop growing because they settle. They don't know that you have to continue to grow. Most people don't know that life is like peeling an onion. You just keep peeling back layers and layers and layers and layers because there is no ceiling. You are your own galaxy. You will keep growing and growing and growing until you get to the point where you understand the 5 pillars of heaven. And then you become a star. Your own, what we call galaxy, black hole, portal, whatever you want to call it. So what do you got to master? You guys remember the development center where we did based upon Genesis 1:26? So we all know that that's why you're here on heaven. Remember, brothers and sisters, this is not an evacuation plan. This is an occupation plan. God ain't going to come and evacuate you out of your problem. You got to occupy. So you must be comfortable with being uncomfortable. I'm very comfortable with being uncomfortable. Because I know uncomfortability is just temporary. Then I just go to another uncomfortable place. That's temporary. So everything that happens is temporary. So number one, you got to know that everything that's happening to you right now is temporary. It's not permanent. So you must have the language, and we talked about this in the conscious language class, the language of a governor. You're supposed to govern yourself. Nobody should be dirt trapping. That's not for another time. You're supposed to govern like God. So how does God govern? God governs with love. LOVE is EVOL. That's how you govern. Evolve. So if you get somewhere, I don't know where you are, but if you get there and you fucking grow roots and stay, they got you. You are supposed to govern with your psychic energy. That means everything that you be, do, and have is based upon peaceful production. Because you're all knowing, you're all power, and you're all present. Your job is to make sure that we talked about earlier today. Remember, you bold, what we call arrogant, but it's not arrogant. It just simply means that you have what? You have an under understanding of the true, authentic self. That's all it means. Now, remember, everybody's going to tell you this because they tell you that to get you to come down off your mountain. Woo. Your job is do not buy the narrative that other people are selling. Be fearless. Stand tall. Get knocked down, get the fuck up. Own your dirt. If you wrong somebody, say, I apologize, man. That was not my intent. If you promise something and you don't deliver, apologize. Hey, man, when I get it out, I pay you back when I get it. Just right now, something happened, this happened, whatever, I was unexpected. I do that shit all the time. Sometimes I overpromise, not underdeliver. But guess what? I'm going to bounce back. This ain't my first rodeo, homie. Stay peaceful. Stay authentic. Stay real. You have the ability to get out of this electrical magnetic mind control woodpecker system that's based upon the cross and the cube. You got to get out. Tesla developed something called a Tesla magnetizing transistor that we call HARP. It runs on 7.83 hertz. That's the same frequency as your brain. So everybody on this call is under some form of mind control until you do what I do, which is claros nomos. Nomos means rules. Claros means soul. So my rules are based upon my soul, not the dominant culture. So fuck your rules, not you personally. So I break all rules. If they say don't speed, I speed. If they say, hey, don't walk on the sidewalk, I walk on the sidewalk. I don't recommend y'all do it. I'm telling you what I do. I don't follow rules. Because I know the rules are to keep me in a state of feeling. And I don't want to feel like I don't have options. Because I'm a high vibration expression of God on earth. So are you. Now, again, I'm not saying no crazy stuff. God ain't going to tell you to go out there and do no crazy stuff. He's going to make you or allow you to do what? Your operating system. I'm a 336. So when it comes to rules, they say, hey, Doc, don't use your creativity. That's why y'all think I don't teach in a public school. I can go with my degree right now. I can go and teach at a high school. I can go teach at a community college. But you know they're gonna tell me, here's a history book. Teach that. I can't do that. Otherwise, that's a lot of 9 to 5 jobs I can go get. But then I have to bow my knee, got to touch the ground to some other mother. I can't ask nobody. Can I take time off to take my wife fishing? I'm sorry. I'm a grown ass man, and my balls still work. My bad. So no, bro. I can't take orders from another Negro. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Let's keep it real though. So number one, everybody on this call, you're supposed to govern. Your language should be the language of the governor. That means that you have a foreign act based upon Matthew chapter 7 and verse 14. That should be power in your language. When you speak, you should speak as one having authority. That's like the first thing that you know you're in heaven. When you talk, remember, your voice activates your DNA, your energy. If you walk into a room and you got to say something more than excuse me, then something's wrong with your chief, bro. Because people know you when you show up. And I'm a good dude. I don't have no problems. I mean, because I don't live for them. I know who I am. Therefore, other people know who I am. That's called conscious language. It's called spell casting. I'm a conscious creator, bro. I'm not out here just making shit up as I go. Speak casting. I cast when I speak. So no, you ain't no writing, no, man. You ain't got to remember that. You got to mean mug nobody. You ain't got to con nobody. When you speak, when people don't recognize your speech at this level, then you know who you're speaking to. So when you govern your own self, you activate your fornix. That connects you to the fornix. That makes you a phoenix, but it's spelled F-E-N-I-X. Fire. You're on fire. Phoenix rising out of the ashes is F-E-N-I-X. It connects you to the F-O-R-N-I-X, which connects you to the F-O-R-N-A-X. Man, God don't play, man. God is a bad dude. Do that. You are fearfully and wonderfully made to whoop ass and take names. Once you govern yourself, now guess what? You can rule. You're not eligible to rule, dog, until you govern. When you know how to govern, you can rule. Because rules are runes. But you got your own runes. My runes is the letters in my name, W-I-L-L-I-E. Then my middle name, E-D-M-O-U-N-D. Then my last name, R-O-G-E-R-S. Those are runes. So I can rule on land and sea and the air. Because I rule the principle of the power of the air. So do you. But I got to understand the rules that allows me to govern the game of life. You and I are Psalms 24:3. You must be the vibrational form of God on earth. So when you understand Psalms 24, Genesis 1:3, oh, bro, you now are able to mind hack any Negro's brain. Now you are ruling and reigning over reality. Because you can govern, you can rule. That takes you to number 3. Now you got control. You know how many people have seen me lose control? You have to go back to my childhood. Nobody's never seen me out of control. You know how some people go the fuck off and start, cursing people off and going to turn over chairs and just fuck you, sorry, all that stuff. The last time I think I was 13. Last time I lost it. Control, bruh. You should have total control. Nobody should be able to trigger you unless you just want to whoop ass and take names and go to jail and be on CNN. Like I said, man, if y'all see me on CNN, it ain't no accident. You say, man, Dan Doc said, man, shit, he's going to do this, do that. Because I'm going to do it. If I'm doing it, I'm doing it. Oh, it's going to be worldwide. So when you understand and govern, then you can rule. When you rule, now you got control. You control through focus. Your 12-strand DNA becomes a crystalline structure. Anybody heard of your boy Charles Taz Russell from the Watchtower? Watchtower? Anybody remember the movie The Tower? What was that based on? What about the movie Total Recall? Total Recall. They were talking about you, the nucleus, or the nucleus, the ability to exercise what we call control. That takes us to number 4, which is the ability to manage. That means you are the kurios. The word Lord means kurios. Kurios means manager. So no, you don't need a manager, but you are the manager. Manage what? Emotional stability. Man, are you serious? So how in the world we're going to run a major corporation and we can't even control our own emotions? You see, brothers and sisters, Mark 4:29 breaks it all down, man. Anybody heard the Bible says, peace be still? Everybody on this call, all of these are how you know that you are able. And again, we got to break all of this stuff down a little bit more as we get into the activating of the crystal, because your spiritual management is the ability for you to understand the object, the observer, and how to manipulate the object through observation. It is the ability for you to use attention plus focus to create reality. That's called managing the biological, electrical, magnetic field. So the dominant culture created a biological, electrical field using your manufacturer's certificate of origin to create what is called Stromanos homos with House Joint Resolution 192. So your manufacturer's certificate of origin, you call your birth certificate, that puts you under the UCC, which is the Uniform Commercial Code. So now your photons and your phonons we call photography. That's why you got a picture on your driver's license that keep you in a DL state, down low state. So you don't understand the TDA or your Treasury Direct account. So the Uniform Commercial Code is based upon what? Water instead of inscription. So your sigils and your signs and your symbols are neutered. So they turn you from a baby into a battery through baptism. Your power is zing on. Your job is to manage, to function as a manager and produce the fruit of a manager, which takes us to the last, most important piece of the puzzle after govern, rule, control, manage, lead. People will follow, man, if you lead. But most of us are looking for a leader instead of being a leader. I'm a leader. I only train leaders. I don't train followers. Leadership. Lead with your life, not with your lips. I know a lot of leaders. I learned from the greatest leader that I've ever seen was the great Dr. Miles Monroe. And he taught me how to lead with my life, not with my lips. Your job is to identify how you verify. I don't care how you verify, but identify how God designed you to verify, because that's how you manage your memories. None of my memories can come and bite me in the ass because I manage them. So I can talk about dark shit. I can counsel dark people. People can tell me, fuck you, Doc. If I see you on the street, I'm going to whoop your ass. I can get hate mail. I can talk about evil, dark shit. I can go sit with the devil and hang out with him all day. And it don't do nothing. Because I'm going to manage my thoughts. Because I understand the power of modeling, the power of molding, and the power of managing. I manage my memes. And you have the power to do the same. Brothers and sisters, heaven is here. You have the unction that creates function. Follow the unction of the Ruach and the Pneuma. In your gut, in your spirit, there's an unction. You know right from wrong. Nobody got to tell you right from wrong. You know when to help somebody and when not to help somebody. You know when to be nice and when you know when it's time to pack your shit and leave. You know when somebody's trying to disrespect you and you know when they're not. We all know this stuff. It's time for us to start operating as individual expressions of God on earth. Because one day you have your own planet to rule and reign. Man, I love y'all. When we start the new series, we'll pop it off, I guess, on Friday. See everybody mañana. God bless.